Now, it really doesn't take that much of a spark to really get me working on these Nanoblock unboxing builds, and especially with this legendary Pokemon, Raikou, it's no different. So let's get building, guys! Hey guys, Storm Turtle 1 here! Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to my latest Nano build, unboxing build, where we've got the 3 legendary dog Pokemon from Pokemon Gold and Silver. We have got Entei, the fire Pokemon, Suicune, the water Pokemon, and this week's video, Raikou, the electric Pokemon. And the animation for when they wake up from their stone slumber from the burned tower, ooh, it is really awesome. I enjoyed it so much, and I really do look forward to the day when I actually catch these 2 in Crystal, but all 3 in Gold and Silver. But we have got all 3 in Nanoblock form, so just do the Nanoblock build. Now, when you try and catch these Pokemon in Gold, Silver, Crystal, Hot Gold, or Soul Silver, they're always running around the place, so it will be really hard to try and find them. But it's going to be great when I do try and catch them. I know that there's a couple of strategies that everybody uses, and I know that the main one is trying to use Mean Look to try and stop them from, well, running away all the time. We've got, for this build, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags to go through. So, I'm going to get all the pieces I need for this build, and then, well, get ready to do it. And it looks like, yep, this instruction booklet is double-sided. So, time to get organizing, guys. Before we begin the video, I would like to remind everybody that I'm now streaming twice a month here on the YouTube channel. I do it on the first Tuesday of every month, and of course near the end of the month as well. So please do check out my live section on my channel to find out when I'm going live next. Okay, so there are a lot of different colored bricks in this build, and there's a nice little variety. There's at least 3, 4, 5, 6, well, over half a dozen different colored bricks in this build. So let's start off with the obvious, well, kind of the obvious ones, the ones that we don't have a lot of. We have 2 red 1x1s here, and 2 white L's for the build. Then we've got, well, let's move on to Raikou's body, which is mostly going to be yellow. We have 8 1x1s, 6 2x2s, 22 1x2s, 10 2x3s. We've got 5 yellow T's, 11 1x3s, and 20 L's right here. Then we've got some beige colors right here. We've got 4 2x2s and 4 1x1s right here. It's a little hard to tell, but if you do have a bright light to help out with your sorting out method, then it would be a good idea to use it so that you know which colors are beige and which ones are white and which ones are everything else. Especially with the grays here. We've got 4 1x2s here. We have 2 1x3s and 3 2x3s right here in the corner. And we've also got, in the light grays, we've got 6 1x3s. We have 6 1x4s, 6 1x2s, and 10 1x1s. We have some 2x2s. We have 7 of those. We have 4 T's. We also have 24 2x3s here. Then for the yellow part, which is going to be for part of the manes and the the mouth and the tail, we have 2 1x2s, a blue, well, a cyan blue 1x3, 2 2x4s here, 2 L's when it stops moving around, 5 1x1s, 3 T's, and 2 1x4s here. And we've also got some blacks as well. We have 5 1x3s, 4 L's, 7 1x2s, and 10 1x1s here. We've also got some lovely little pink, which would be for the back fur of Raikou as well. We have 3 1x1s, 6 1x2s, who's 3 2x4s, 9 2x3s. We've also got 11 1x3s, and we also have 8 Ls here. So that is it. That's our little myriad of colors that we have for the build. So let's actually put this to one side and get to work on step 1 of the build. Step 1 of the build is over and done with, and it's an easy step to follow. So we begin with 2 light gray 2x3s in vertical positions, one on top of the other, so that it kind of forms a 4x3, if you will. And it starts to form the base of Raikou's body. And to help out with that step, we also have another 2x3 gray right there where my stylus pointer is leading to. And it's in a horizontal position to the left of the 2x3s that we did earlier. And then to its right is another it's actually a 1x3 light gray piece, where it's kind of helps with the 2x3 in the horizontal to form a 3x3, if you will, for the bottom layer. Then on top is a gray T where the odd peg is facing north, and of course is at least in the bottom middle of the front 2x3 that we've started out in the first layer. Then we grabbed a gray 1x4 and then connected it in the top middle of the front 2x3 here, and of course connecting the other 2x3s that we've done for the first layer. And at the back is a yellow 1x3 here on the right, and a 1x2 on the left, so that kind of forms a 1x5 in a vertical position. So it will look a little bit difficult if you don't have something like this plate here, but if you do have a plate, then it's going to help you out with your build, and just to help make sure that everything stays together. So with that now completed, we can then take all of these pieces off the plate, and then start to get to work on step 2. So step 2 is nearly done. I just thought it would be a good idea to show you what you have to do for this step. So first of all, you grab 2 yellow 1x3s, 2 yellow 1x1s, 2 yellow T's, and 2 black L's. And for the left side, you grab you put the 1x3 in a horizontal position, and a yellow 1x1. For the right side, it has to be on the right side. Well, on this side of the model, it has to be on the right side, and vice versa on the left side. So sort of like a mirror step build, if you will, to help out with this assembly. Then we place the yellow T with the odd peg facing north for both sides, and then we put it over the yellow 1x1 and the bottom and the middle of the 1x3 that we've done, and then the black L where the gap is filled by the odd peg of the T. It forms something like this for both sides on the model. And then what we do is we put them on as such. So it helps connect everything, and we are working on part of the stripes on Raikou. And with that step over and done with, we can now move on to step 3, where we're going to be adding some more black details onto the model. Step 3 is nearly completed, and it's just like what we did with step 2. It's a mirror step, this one. And for this, you need 2 black 1x3s and 2 black 1x2s. And you put the 1x2 underneath the 1x3 as such, so that there's a free peg underneath the 1x3 available. And then we put it here, right in front of the yellow T that we've done. And then we grab the same color bricks, but this time in yellow, and do the same thing that we did with the black ones, and then do it as such. So it should look like this after step 3. So it kind of forms the stripes on Raikou's body. And with that, we can actually put this to one side and get to work on step 4, where we're going to be working on the rear legs of Raikou. Step 4 of the build is done, and it's an easy step nonetheless. We begin with a grey 2x3 and place it in the vertical position as such, and then on top of that is a grey 1x3, so that helps to form a 3x3, if you will. Then for the yellow pieces, we've got 2 yellow 1x2s, both in a vertical position in the top row of the 2x3 that we put on first. Then we've got 2 yellow L's, where this one has the gap facing the southeast, and this one is facing southwest. And of course, you have to make sure that the gaps are in line with the grey 1x3 right here at the back. And the purpose for this will be revealed later on in the video, and hopefully it will be shown in step 5. We're almost done with step 5 of the build. There is one little sub-assembly that we have to do. First of all, let's begin with what we've done for the main part of the build here. So I began with this grey 1x4 and placed it in horizontal position, where the 3 pegs at the front are connecting over the 1x3 and the 2x3 that we did earlier in step 4. And then I grabbed 2 yellow L's for the front here, where this one has the gap facing the southwest and this one is facing southeast. Then it's kind of like an opposite mirror reflection, if you will, with the rear 2 L's here. So this one is going southeast and this one is going southwest. And of course they have gaps right here where we've done the yellow L's in step 4. And well, it's really easy. So first of all, you grab a black 1x2 and a 1x1. You gotta do this twice. They're both sub-assemblies anyway. And then you put the 1x1 underneath the 1x2. As such, just like it's shown on my finger. And then you put where this part of the 1x2 is right here for the gaps for the top L's at the back. So it should look like this after step 6. And of course the L's from step 4 will have the gaps filled by the black 1x1s that we have put on for step 5. And with that done, we can then move on to step 6, which we will do on camera, which is always the fun part with these builds. You grab 2 black L's, and you place one here, and one here. And then we grab 2 yellow 1x2s, and you put one here, and one here. And that should be it for step 6. Then for step 7, we just attach the front part of the back part of step 3 onto the model as such. So it should look something like this at the end of step 7. And then we can actually, well, it will have some loose pieces, but hopefully later on in the build, they will be more stable as we add more pieces on top of the model, which will be happening in step 8. Step 8 of the build is completed, and it does feel a lot more stable now after we've applied more bricks on top of what we've done so far from step 7. So, instead of starting at the front, I've actually begun at the back to work on the hind legs of Raikou with these 2 yellow 2x3s, both in vertical positions, right here and here. And then underneath them are 2 yellow 1x3s, so that they help form 2 3x3s for Raikou's legs. Then I grabbed a grey 1x4 and placed it in a horizontal position and made sure that it was, well, the top peg of that 1x4 is in line with the yellow 1x3s right here, so that it helps out with the stability of the inside of the model. And then to help keep it in place, I placed 2 yellow T's, where on the one on the right, its odd peg is facing the east, and the one on the left is going west. And then to help keep the pattern of the black lines on Raikou's body going, I grabbed 4 black 1x1s and put them in the gaps right next to the T's or pegs. One here, here, and one here, and here. So it helps keep the pattern of Raikou going. Then I grabbed a yellow 2x3, and again, I've done the same for the rear of the legs. I put it in a vertical position to help keep everything structurally stable. And then on the top row of that 2x3 is a yellow 1x1 on each side, so that it keeps the illusion of Raikou's body going round, curved, and whatnot. Then for both the left and the right side of Raikou's body are 2 yellow L's, where the ones on the left have the gap facing the southeast, and the ones on the right are going southwest. And of course, the first L's have their gaps filled by the second L's, and the second L's will have their gap filled with a grey 2x3 in a vertical position, so that it keeps the illusion of Raikou's mouth going. Or actually, it's chest. Sorry about that. And with that over and done with, and of course the model more structurally stable now, we can move on to step 9 of the build, where we can get to work on part of Raikou's tail. Before we carry on with the next step, there is one brick that I forgot to add onto the model in step 8. It's another grey 2x3, a light grey 2x3 in the vertical position, like what we've done in the front right here. So it helps out with step 9, where we have actually added the tail, which is the cyan blue 1x4. But let's start with the front of the model first. So I began with a yellow 2x3 in a vertical position and placed it at least on the top row over the grey 2x3 that we've done in step 8. Then I had to grab 2 yellow L's and make sure that the gap on the left side is facing the southeast and filled by the yellow 2x3. And the same again with the, for the one on the right, it's facing southwest, where it's also where the gap is also filled, by the 2x3 here at the front. Then this row here becomes a little bit complicated if you are not too familiar with with the patterns, or you find it a little bit perplexing. So the best thing to try and do is try and take it one at a time. Start with the black 1x3, and then the black 1x2 on the left, with the 1x3 here on the right. And then for the yellow, you grab a yellow 1x3 here, then a 1x2 here, then the same again for the black, 1x3 and 1x2, and then the same again for yellow, 1x3 and 1x2, and then once more for the black, 1x3 by 1x2, and then once again for the yellow, 1x3 by 1x2. You have to do it at least 3 times with this pattern, so that it helps to create the body for Raikou, the stripes on the body. And of course, giving it the illusion that it's electric thunder shocks all around the fur of Raikou. Then for the back here is a grey 2x3 in a vertical position, followed by a grey 2x2 here, so that kind of forms a 2x5, if you will, and it helps to carry on with the positioning pattern of what we've done in the middle right here. And it should also help to keep the model nice and stable, and of course to try and avoid any friction for the when you do the rest of the model, and especially when you put on more bricks on the Raikou. Then in the middle of the grey 2x3 here is a 1x1 right here, so that helps with the cyan blue 1x4 for the tail, and another grey 1x1 right here on the right side of the 2x2. Now it will look a little bit unstable at first, but hopefully with the next step we should be able to resolve some of these issues, and to help make sure that the tail stays on the body. So I'll see you guys in step 10. Step 10 of the build is over and done with, and yes, it is starting to feel a lot more stable in the tail region, and it's all because of the cyan blue 1x3 that we've actually put the 2 pegs on the top half of it in the bottom half of the 1x4 from the previous step. Then on both left and the right side are 2 grey 2x2s, so that it helps keep the tail in position. Then this is going to be a mirror step build on this one. I grabbed 2 grey 1x4s and put them on the inner side of the 2x2s, that they're almost connecting to the 1x3s that we've done as so it kind of creates a gap right here, a 1x4 gap here. And then on the outside is a pink 2x3 in a horizontal position, where it's at the uppermost region of the 1x4s that we've done, here and here. Then we also grabbed 2 pink L's, where this one is facing southwest, and this one is facing southeast. Then for the front half of Raikou's body is a 2x3 in a horizontal position, and of course a 1x3 right here to its left, so it kind of forms a 3x3. Then there is a yellow 2x3 in a vertical position right here, so it should kind of almost look like a 5x3, if you will, a nice big piece. And with that over and done with, we can actually add some more pink onto the model, so step 11 awaits. Step 11 of the build is over and done with, and yes, there is more pink on this model. And a little bit of yellow here, which is where I actually began with this step. The yellow T with the odd peg is facing to the north, so that it's heading towards the back of the model as such. So it should kind of almost look like this. Then I grabbed 2 pink 1x4s and placed them both in horizontal positions on the left and the right side of the T, where it's actually the bottom row of those 2x4s are in line with the odd peg of the yellow T here. Then I filled in the gap that is created by those 2x4s with a pink 1x3 in a horizontal position, and of course touching the T that we've done placed right here on the front. Then on the back is another pink 1x3, this time in a vertical position, so that it helps out with the pink L's that we've placed on this model right here, where this one has a gap facing the southeast, and this one is facing southwest. Of course, you have to make sure that the gaps are being filled by the 2x4s, otherwise it will just look a little bit awkward when you carry on with the build. Then, right on top of those 3 pieces is a pink 1x3 and a 1x2 linked together to form a 1x5 vertically, so that it also helps out with the wavy form on the back of Raikou. Then finally, here at the back are 2x4 and the 2x3, both in vertical positions, so that kind of forms a 2x7, and of course over the 1x3 cyan blue for Raikou's tail. And this is what it should look like after step 11. And what it should look like for later on in the build, when we actually finish Raikou's head, which we will be starting in step 12. Step 12 of the build is completed, and we have got part of Raikou's mouth done with these cyan blue L's, but those were not the starting pieces of this step. The starting piece was this grey 2x3 in a vertical position, and then directly underneath it is a grey T where the odd peg is facing southwards. And of course, on the sides of that T is the 2 cyan blue L's, where this one has a gap facing the northwest, and this one is facing northeast. And their gaps are filled by 2 more grey 2x3s, both in horizontal positions, so that we can start work on Raikou's head. And hopefully in step 13 we can get a bit more done. Step 13 of the build is completed, and it's an easy step, especially once you take the pieces off the plate that you're building with. So I began with the cyan blue T and made sure that the odd peg was facing north, but was of course the long part of that piece were connected above, the Stein Blue L's that we've done in the previous step on step 12, like this. Then I placed a gray 1x4 in a horizontal position directly on top of the cyan blue T that we've done here. And then I grabbed two gray 2x3s and placed them both in vertical positions so that they also connect the cyan blue L's and of course the gray here T and the 2x3s on both sides from the previous step. That's step 13. Step 14 we shall do on the screen in front of everybody. And I begin with two gray 2x3s. And I place them both in vertical positions as such. And then two gray T's, where the one on the right has the odd peg facing the west, and the one on the left facing the east. So it should look like this from above. And that is step 14, and it will feel a little unstable at first, but hopefully in step 15 it will be a lot more stable. And before we move on to step 15, I have a wonderful message to share with everybody. Do you like what you see on the screen? The link to the video will be down in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. But for now, we're going back to the build. That's right guys, I am always live on Twitch and Kick on 11 o'clock in the morning UK time on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. Where I'll be playing games like Pokemon, Final Fantasy and The Legend of Zelda. And of course, twice every month on YouTube, it will be a Nintendo game because of the Switch 2 announcement. And hopefully, we will hit the next milestone, which will be 600 real soon. But enough about the channel goals. Let's actually move on to step 15 of the Nano build. And it was really easy to do once I figured out where I should start with this. So I grabbed the dark gray 1x3 and placed it in the horizontal position at the front of the model here, in the middle of the cyan blue T that we did in step 13. And I've used that as my foundation brick to help out with where I should go around this model next. Then I grabbed at least three gray 2x3s and placed one in the middle of the, above the gray dark gray 1x3 here in the vertical position. And of course, made sure that the middle pegs were in line with that 1x3 that we did here. Then on both the left and the right side of that vertical gray piece are two more gray 2x3s in horizontal positions. One here and one here. And of course, making sure that the top halves, the bottom row of the pegs for the 2x3s were not, heading towards the front of Raikou's head, here and here. And of course, creating a 1x1 gap here and here for the model. Then here at the back is two more gray 2x3s, and they are in vertical positions this time, so that they can help out with the assembly onto the body of Raikou. And of course, you have to make sure that there is at least a peg gap between those 2x3s, otherwise it won't look like a proper head for Raikou. Then we grabbed two gray 1x3s, both in horizontal positions, where the bottom two pegs were in line with this the top half of the 2x3 here, and of course at least one peg away from the 2x3 from the previous layer. And of course connecting the bottom row of the 2x3s in the vertical position here at the back. So that should be it for step 15. For step 16, we just put this on top, the head on the model as such, making sure that it should look something like this on the side. Beautiful. And step 16 is completed. I can now move on to step 17, where we're going to add the eyes for Raikou. Ooh, scary stuff. Step 17 is over and done with, and yes, we've got Raikou's eyes added to the model. Very nice right here, but that wasn't the foundation brick for this step. The foundation brick was this dark gray 1x3, which was in a horizontal position and over the 1x3 that we did on step 15. So that keeps the illusion of Raikou's nose going. Then in the middle of that 1x3 are the two red 1x1s that I placed them both here and here. Then right behind them are the two white L's, where this one is facing the northwest and this one is facing the northeast for the gaps. And of course the gaps are both filled by two yellow 1x1s, which will be used for more of Raikou's head. Then I grabbed three gray 2x3s and placed them vertically so that it forms the illusion of a 2x9 right here, so that it carries on with the head for Raikou. Then at the back are two pink 2x3s, both in horizontal positions, and of course a pink 1x3, and again in a horizontal position, so that kind of forms a 3x5 right here. Then on top of those 2x3s is another pink 1x3 right in the middle of the body right here, and where it's in a position, well, it's in a vertical position, so that it helps keep the curved effect going. Then there's another pink 1x3 in the middle of, well, in a horizontal position, in the middle of the vertical position 1x3 that we have done here. Then on the left and the right side, but at the bottom side, well, on the bottom part of that 1x3 are two pink 1x2s, again in horizontal positions so that they form the curved body effect of Raikou. Then at the back here is a pink 2x3 in a vertical position, and where it's at least one row of pegs over the 2x4 that we've done here. And on both ends of that 2x3 are two pink L's, where this one has the gap facing the northeast, and this one is facing northwest. And in the next step, for step 18, we're going to be adding some more detail onto this model by adding some more pink and getting more of Raikou's head done. Step 18 of the build is done, and we have added more details to not only Raikou's head, but also the back part of the body as well. So for the head, we begin with two dark gray 2x3s in vertical positions where one is on top of the other, and you have to make sure that the front 2x3 is directly over the red eyes, and of course making sure that it's not really fully over over the cyan blue 2x2s that we've got here. And then of course on both the left and the right side, well, in the middle of that of those 2x3s is linked together are two dark gray 1x2s, where the bottom part of those 1x2s where they're in the horizontal position are over the whites, and of course over the yellow. The top part is over the yellow, sorry, to keep the illusion of Raikou, who as it's an angry thunder beast Pokemon, covered. Then at the top here is a pink 2x3 in the horizontal position on the right side of the gray 2x3 that we've done here. And on the left row of pegs of that, on the left side of that pink 2x3 is another pink 1x3, so that kind of forms the 3x3 illusion for the model. Then on the left side of that 2x3 on the top is a pink 1x2 right here, so that it kind of forms, the the cloud effect of Raikou. Then at the front here, still on the head of Raikou, there is a gray 1x3 in a horizontal position on the left here and the right here, so that kind of keeps the illusion of Raikou's head as being dark cloudy and whatnot. And then two gray 1x2s again in a horizontal position where it's in the middle of the 2x3s is that we did in the previous step, number 17. Then for step 18, which is it will look a little bit awkward, but there are two pink 1x2s, one here and one here, where they are both in horizontal positions, and of course at least one peg away from the gap from the pink L's. Then I grabbed 2 pink 1x1s and placed them on the back row right here. And to help fill in the gap for those 1x1s, it's a pink 2x3 in the vertical position. And hopefully, we will be able to make sure that they stay in place in step 19, because they do look a little bit loose. And hopefully, with the next step, that won't be an issue. Step 19 of the build is completed, and we are nearly done with the head of Raikou, and of course we're also nearly done with the rear part of Raikou as well. So let's start off with the rear part, because that would look like the most perplexing one of them all. So I began with a pink 1x3 in the vertical position and placed it over the 2x3 that we've done in the previous layer. Then in the middle of that 1x3 at the front here is a pink 1x1, so that kind of creates an illusion of a pink T. Now, if you have one spare, you can actually use this instead of the what was shown in the instructions if it's a little too uncomfortable for you. But this was how it was done in the instructions for me, so I'm going with that. And then on both the left and the right side of that 1x1 are 2 pink L's, where this one has the gap facing southeast, and this one is southwest, and you have to make sure that the row of 2 for each of those L's are linked, well, are in position of the 1x1 that we've done here. Otherwise, it's just going to not look like a good recreation of the model. Then for the head here, I placed a dark grey 2x3 in the vertical position right in the middle of the two 2x3s that we did in step 18. And then on the top row of that 2x3 are 2 dark grey 1x2s, both in vertical positions, so that they kind of form Raikou's the crown of the head. Then I placed a pink 1x3 in a horizontal position in the middle of that dark grey 2x3 right here, so that it connects the back fur of Raikou, the mane, to the head. And then I grabbed 2 grey 2x2s, so that it helps keep everything in position. And with that over and done with, we can move on to step 20 through to 22. Because it's not really that hard to do. For step 20, you just grab 2 grey 1x2s and place them both in horizontal positions. And you put them kind of almost in the position, well, close to the pink 1x3 in step 19. Then for step 21, we grab 2 grey 2x2s, and then we put them over the 2x2s from step 19 so that they form Raikou's ears as such. And then for step 22, it's an easy one, a little easy sub-assembly. You grab a pink 2x3 and a 1x3 and make them look like a 3x3, as you can see here on the camera. And then place a pink 1x3 in a vertical position to connect everything together, and then we put this on the back row for Raikou. So it looks like this now. And that is step 22 done, and now we just need to turn this body upside down for step 23, because we're going to be working on the legs. Before we finish step 23, there is a sub-assembly that we have to do, but I think it would be best to explain what I've done first with step 23. So I begin with 2 yellow 1x2s, where one of them is actually, well, on both the left and the right side of the model. They're both in horizontal positions, so on the outside of Raikou's body. And then on the left, well, on the right side on the left part here, and the right part on the left side here, and the left part on the right side here is a grey 1x2. Finally got there in the end. Both, again, in horizontal positions, so that they are kind of helping out with the chest of Raikou here, which is a gray 2x3 in a vertical position. And of course, it's, well, the bottom row of the 2x3 is in line with the top half of the 1x2s that we've done here. Then there is another gray 2x3 in a vertical position to carry on with the curve effect of Raikou's chest. And we also have two yellow 1x2s in vertical positions on the top row of the front 2x3, so that helps keep everything together for Raikou's body. Now, we also have this little part right here, and it's a really easy sub-assembly. You grab 3 beige 1x1s, as you can see here on the camera. You put one on top of the other until you form a little tower, so that they kind of form Raikou's fangs, his electric teeth. And then you place it underneath the model in the same row as the cyan blue L's gap. So it kind of looks like this for Raikou. It's got its fangs, and it's got part of its front legs. Now we just need to work on the hind legs in step 24. So, step 24 has a few sub-assemblies that we have to go through, and I thought it would be a good idea to actually do the sub-assembly here on the camera. So, each part of step 24 requires 2 L's, where they have the gaps filled in by each other, so it kind of forms a 2x3, if you will. Now, if you want to try and do instead of this, you can put in a 2x3 if you want, but the instructions do say use this method instead. And once you've done that, you then grab, this is for the one on the right leg here. For the left leg, it actually should be like this. Yes, we go. This is what it should look like. I think on the left leg. For the right leg, it should look like this. And then what you do is you grab a gray 1x1 and place it in the front middle of the L. Well, in the middle of the front L. And then a yellow 1x1 in the same row here. So it looks like this. Then you grab a yellow, another yellow L, and you place it with the gap facing the south. Well, depending on where it is, so it should look like this. And then you grab a black 1x1, and then you put it in the gap of the yellow L that we've done. And then we grab another gray 1x1 and put it on top of the first one as such. Then a yellow 1x2, you put it on like this. And then another yellow L, and you have its gap filled by the gray 1x1 like this. And then what you do is you put it on the model one like this, and the other kind of like this. The best way to find out where to put those sub-assemblies is to use the back row gray 1x3 as a sort of guide, so that you know that it should be connected together as such. And when that's over and done with, we can now add on the 2 hind legs for Raikou, and it's an easy little set of 2 sub-assemblies. You grab 2 beige 2x2s and 2 yellow 1x2s, and you put it on any part of the 2x2 that you've done here. Then you grab 2 yellow 2x3s, and you put it to the middle row underneath the 1x2, and of course showing a part of the beige 2x2 that you've done, like this and this. Beautiful. So it looks like that. And then you grab 2 yellow 2x2s, and then you put it on the top half of the 2x3 that you've done earlier. And of course in line with the 1x2 as well. And then we just add these onto Raikou's legs. The hind legs, anyway. So this is what it should look like now after step 25. And with that completed, we can then get to work on step 26, working on the front legs of Raikou. The sub-assemblies for step 26 are really easy, and we can do it on camera because it's better to show you rather than just tell you. So for both of the front legs of Raikou, we grab 2 beige 2x2s and 2 yellow 1x2s, and place the yellow 1x2s in the vertical position on, well, behind the beige 2x2s that we've done here. And then we grab a yellow 2x3, and then you do the same like you did on step 25 for the hind legs of Raikou. You put the middle, well, the yellow 1x2 in the middle of underneath the 2x3, and the beige at least at the front of the legs. So that is it for the first part of step, well, for each sub-assembly. For the second part, you grab 2 yellow 2x2s, and then you place them both on top of each other, one on top of the other, sorry. And then on the back side, back end of each of the legs. Now for step 3, you grab a yellow 1x2, place it in the vertical position as such, and then for the right leg, the right front leg, you put the grey 1x1 on the left side and the black 1x1 on the right side. But for the left leg, it's the reverse, so that it carries on the illusion for Raikou's belly, its body. The grey brick, well, the grey 1x1 goes on the right, and the black goes on the left. And then we just attach the legs underneath. And the best way to keep a nut to make sure that they are in the right position is using these black Aka bricks as your guide, so that they don't look out of place. And that is what this is what the model should look like after step 26. Raikou has his legs, he has his fangs, he's got his chest fur. All he's missing is his tail. So we begin step 27. We'll do it on camera again. We grab a cyan blue 1x2 and a 1x1, and we put the 1x1 underneath. Either side of the 1x2 will do. It doesn't really matter which side, but it will matter when you put it on the model. You have to make sure that it is directly, should look like this for step 20, for the first part of step 27. Then we grab another 1x1 and place it kind of in the same area as what we did with the first, a little bit of the sub-assembly. So that's what it should look like after step 27. Next, for step 28, it is one final sub-assembly for the tail, and it's going to be quite a bit of a long one. Okay, so we're nearly at the end of the video, but we do have one more thing to do, and that is build the tail. And to begin, we grab a cyan blue 1x4 and put it right behind a cyan blue T, right in the middle where the peg is facing whichever direction that you want to do it for. But what you also need to do is grab another cyan blue T and make sure that the row of 3 is directly underneath the row of 3 for this part right here. So that it kind of forms a, well, the electrical ball for Raikou's tail. And to help carry on with that effect is another blue, cyan blue, 1x1 in the very middle of that, that T on the underneath part of that tail. Then we grab a cyan blue 1x2 and a 1x1, and you put the 1x1 on any side of the 1x2. Doesn't really matter where this as well. And then you put this where the 1x1 is right over the end of the 1x4 here. And then we grab one final cyan blue 1x1 and put it in the middle top of the T as such. So it should look like this. And then we could put this on the tail of Raikou, making sure that it is something like this. And there we go. Raikou, one of the legendary Pokemon of the Johto region, ready to roam freely across the world of Pokemon, seeking thunderstorms as it runs. Did you like my little unboxing video? If you did, why not check out my other content right here? I have a nice little video for a Nanoblock set from a video game series, or I have a playlist right here for all of my past builds. And if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can help the channel grow, and ring the bell to get notified on my latest videos. Happy gaming guys, and I'll see you at the next unboxing build.